Hey there, fellow sports gamblers. It's Steel Picks for you with the 5 best NBA playoff prize picks and underdog free picks for today, April 30th. Before we get into today's picks, let's do a quick recap of what happened to us yesterday. We got a break early. Brandon Ingram got hurt in the first quarter and ended the game with 1 point and 1 rebound, below the 24.5 points and rebounds we said he'd go under. James Harden had 7 turnovers, well above the 3.5 we said he'd go over. Desmond Bane had 5 rebounds and 1 assist, below the 7.5 points and rebounds we said he'd go under. But the Stars showed out in a big way yesterday. The Prince of the 206, Paolo Banchero, finished the game with 45 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, obliterating the 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists we said he'd go under in defeat. And Cade Cunningham exploded also for 45 points and 5 assists, well above the 38.5 points and assists we said he'd go under. 3 out of 5 is not terrible, and especially the way it happened. Very happy for Paulo, Prince of the 206, and Cade, showing out, trying to show that he's a superstar. The playoff excitement's amazing, so anything can happen. But let's see if we can't put together an immaculate ticket for today. You guys deserve it for sure. First off, the cat that we've been picking on for weeks now, the cash cow, Derek White, under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, I'm just not picking on him to be picking on him, fellow sports gamblers. As you can see, now that we have a pretty good sample size and a pretty extensive body of work, you can see with your own 2 eyes that Derek White has not gone over this one time. The closest he got was where he had double-digit points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, getting to 19. But he's only been to double digits in points one other time, and that was Game 3 at Philadelphia, the first one where they had to go there with the 4 rebounds and 2 assists. But he simply has not been himself. He simply has not been the Derek White we've come to know and love ever since Jason Tatum came back into the lineup. I won't say the starting lineup because he's not quite a starter just yet, but he's certainly on a minute restriction. But Derek White has not really produced ever since he's come back. His role has been diminished, and what he's been asked to do and what he's been capable of doing has just certainly not been there. And we can take it even further. The minutes are pretty consistent. He's getting about 35 minutes a game. He is not really getting to the free throw line. As a matter of fact, 2 games, he didn't get to the free throw line at all. The high water mark being 4 free throw attempts. 2 for 2 in game 5. But that's just not going to be enough. I certainly think that Derek White, once again, for the umpteenth time, will go under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. As you can see, Novig likes this as well, as they have him at minus 109. Next up, his teammate, Jaylen Brown, under 4.5 assists. Now, as you might recall, for those of you that listen to the show fairly frequently, he has not really been doing this. It was quite the anomaly in Game 5 that he came out and tried to get the other players involved with 5 assists, and that was only a half an assist over what we said he would go under. But these other games, now that we have that extensive body of work, and the stats will back us up, 3, 4, 4, 1, and 5, certainly think that this is certainly something that he will definitely go under. Again, it was just the one time. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened to him. But given the fact that they are in a situation where if they don't win Game 6 at Philadelphia, they will have to go home with their playoff lives on the line. I don't think that Jaylen Brown wants that to happen. And furthermore, I think that he is going to take matters into his own hands and make sure that if and when that happens, he is going to be the responsible person for that. As you can see in the minutes played, 36.5, the high water mark being, 40.6 in Game 5, 40.4 in Game 3. He's not fouling a whole lot, so he's not really scrapping at people. But he's failed to exceed this in 8 of his last 9 games. Of course, you know how I feel about the playoffs being way more important than the regular season, so I don't really count those. But he hasn't really done this. Just the one time in Game 5. I don't think that he will do that again in Game 6. Understanding the sense of urgency and the gravity of the situation, I think he is going to take the bull by the horns and try and get to the line as much as he possibly can. He's going to be going to the hole. He's not going to be looking for the others. He's going to try and put the team on his back and carry them to finish them off in Philadelphia so that they don't have to go to a Game 7. Jaylen Brown under 4.5 assists. As you can see, Novig likes this as well at the minus 136. Next up from that same game. Oh, look who's back. Welcome. Joel Embiid over 1.5 3-pointers. Now, as you can see, you know how I feel about the playoffs adverse to regular season. The playoffs is a different animal, and you can't really extrapolate what happens in the regular season in the playoffs. Joel Embiid's body of work is not nearly as extensive. His stats will not back it out. But in Game 1, he had no 3-pointers. I certainly do not think that will be a trend that will continue. I think that once he gets his legs underneath him and gets back into the swing of things, that the 3-pointers will come, at least 2 of them for us. Fellow sports gamblers, I think this is a no-brainer. The first game he kind of, dusted off the rust, so to speak, but he'll be back, and he wants to make sure there's a Game 7, and he wants to make sure that his presence of authority is felt, and it's going to be felt from all over the court, ladies and gentlemen, including the 3-point line. So I definitely think that he's going to go over 1.5 3-pointers, not to drift too tough into the regular season stats, but as you can see, 3-pointers allowed. The Boston Celtics were kind of high up there. So with his minutes, we had 38.9 minutes. And with the 3-pointers, here's the stat that I really wanted to show you guys, fellow sports gamblers. He took 5. He was 0 for 5. Now, typically he's around 37, 38% from the 3-point range. If he hits 2, that's 40%, but he was 0 for 5, which just gives us this number right here. I think that he's actually going to hit at least 2 and probably take 7 to 8 3-pointers. That's just my personal opinion, and I definitely think that he's going to go over this 1.5 3-pointers. As you can see, Novik likes it as well at the minus 129. And as a friendly reminder, when you sign up with BETR using my promo code WINCASH, you'll receive 2 anytime tokens worth up to $100 each. And when you sign up with Novig using my STEELEWINS promo code and spend $5, you'll get an additional $50 bonus. Something that you can definitely use, make more money. Fellow sports gamblers, let's get it in. Let's do our thing. Next up, we have CJ McCollum over 2.5 rebound Knicks at home in Atlanta. Now, as you look at the stats here, again, now that we have an extensive body of work, a pretty good sample size, you can see that CJ McCollum has not been just killing the glass. He's not Mr. Windex out here, but he'll get you at least 3 rebounds in a game. The high water mark being 5 in Game 3. Not quite sure what happened in Game 4. He only got us the 1 rebound, but he came back strong with the 3 in Game 5. That's a half a rebound over what we need. I certainly think that understanding that this is an elimination game, that he will definitely want to come out and do his thing. So CJ McCollum is going to get those 2.5 rebounds. Mark my words. Let's see what we're looking at as far as minutes are concerned. As you can see, he's been playing pretty consistently, getting those 32, 33 minutes in there. And with regards to rebounds, the high water mark again being that 5 rebound attempts. The 1 in Game 4, 3 in Game 5. But he's consistently been getting over the 2.5, and that's what we need, fellow sports gamblers. He will get over 2.5 rebounds. And last but not least, we have Mikal Bridges under 4.5 rebounds and assists. Numbers don't lie. Stats and analytics are our friends. You can see he has not done that not one time in this playoffs. And in addition, it's been pretty abysmal. He's been 3 rebounds and assists combined for the first 4 games. And in the last game, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Wow, not really very favorable for him, but very good for us, which is why we're taking it, because the stats don't lie. You can see it right there. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. Definitely, he's going to be under the 4.5 rebounds and assists. Mikal Bridges has not really been the factor that they had hoped that he would be in New York. He's certainly getting enough minutes to do so, but in the rebound perspective, not very good. He has not really been cleaning the boards, as you can see, and in potential assists, again, NAs in games 4 and 5. They're going to Atlanta for game 6 with the idea that Atlanta is most definitely going to be trying to extend this game to game 7 and seeing if CJ McCollum cannot become a footnote in New York lore, in Madison Square Garden lore, much like Reggie Miller before him and much like Trae Young before him, just going in there and burning the house down. But in order to do so, they'll need to get back to Madison Square Garden in game 7 and see what they can do. So I think that they're going to put the clamps down. Mikal Bridges under 4.5 rebounds and assists. As you can see, Underdog loves this at the -119. So to recap, we have Derek White under 19.5 points, rebounds, under 4.5 assists. Joel Embiid over 1.5 3-pointers. CJ McCollum over 2.5 rebounds. And Mikal Bridges under 4.5 rebounds. The ticket that I put together for us, Derek White under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Joel Embiid over 1.5 3-pointers. And CJ McCollum over 2.5 rebounds. That's the 5 picks I have for you today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the Steel Picks for You channel. And good luck, everyone.